Hey guys, it is Sophia, the Shadow Hunter, and today I'm doing my book review on Imaginary Friend by Chbosky, the #1 best-selling author of Perks of Being a Wallflower. I really enjoyed this book. I got hooked on it from the beginning. It was very spooky and dark and sad, and it deals with real issues and people, and I loved the growth of the characters, you're getting to know the characters. The main character is Christopher and his mom. They've been living on the road, so to speak, for many years after his father commits suicide. Christopher is 7 years old, and so after a while they finally settle down to a town. And they live in a hotel for a while, and they finally get a house because he tells his mom to get a lottery ticket, and he gets the lottery ticket and she wins, and so they now have a lot of money so they can get a real house and have a normal life. However, shortly after that happens, Christopher disappears, and when he comes back, he is really good at school. He has things that he sees that other people couldn't see, and talking to things that aren't there. And I was really hoping this book was going to be one of my favorite books of the year. And I enjoyed reading it. I did not want to put it down. It was hard to put down, but it was 705 pages. And I enjoyed every page of it, every minute of it. I really enjoyed it. It was a great story. There was too much realness in it at the same time as it being fictionalized. I feel like it starts out, it's very realistic fiction, real life, completely real life stuff, and then you have all this like mystifying, funny, crazy horror stuff that's happening. And I love, no, don't get me wrong, I like when that stuff is combined. There's nothing wrong with it. But it gets so outlandish. It's like, is this real or is this fake? And I know this is fiction and it's a book, but when I'm reading a book, I kind of need to know, is this supposed to be fictionalized or is this supposed to be real life? And obviously it's fiction. It's not going to be real life, but I feel like everything else in there has other like Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I love. You guys should read it. Maybe I'll reread it soon and rewatch the movie because I love the movie. He puts real life stuff, terrible real life stuff into his books. And I know sometimes people like mixing that with, you know, a little bit of comedy or science fiction, and that's fine. I don't have anything against it. But in this book, there are so many different other characters and like kind of almost other storylines going on. And I know writing is really hard and it's difficult, and I'm not, but I think for now I'm going to give this a book. I think I gave it probably a 4.5 stars on Goodreads. I finished this book, let's see, this is Wednesday, about 4 days ago, so I had time to think about it, to let it stew in my brain to figure out what I really thought about this book. Please let me know, you guys, in the comments down below. I know I probably sound a little bit harsh or critical. I am sorry, I'm not. I'm just being openly honest about, these are my opinions and no one else is probably going to agree with me. Maybe you guys do. Let me know in the comments down below. That's okay. I just want to have an open discussion about this books and music and things in general, because we all have different ideas and that's okay. And I still think this book was very well done, very well thought, put together. His books take place in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania, and I grew up in that area for a small portion of my life. And so it's great to see some of those things. He talks about one of those favorite restaurants called Promontory Brothers, which is in Pittsburgh, and the bridge with the tunnel, which he also has in Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm not sure how many books he have read. I mean, he's written. This is the second one of his I've read. I don't know if he's written a lot of them. So this was very enjoyable. I want to reread it. I love the scary and the horrorness of it. I loved everything about it. It just at the end and how it ended, I feel like there's so much truth and there's also so much fiction in it that it kind of intertwines. And I know that's probably a good thing, but I had a hard time, I feel like, seeing, you know, where at the end of the story, what really happened. and it's just all his imagination. The little boy go crazy because his father, spoiler, I already said something surprised that Sir said earlier, spoiler, his father committed suicide and his father had depression problems, and so now they're afraid that he has those when he's in the hospital. They want to test him, however, Christopher will not talk to them, and it's an ongoing story. But he also brought a lot of he brought the religion into it, he brought the Catholic Church into it, and just lots of different things. You know, she's a single parent, she's got one child, she's been trying to get a job, she finally gets a job. And so I just want to say this book was a very good book and I really enjoyed it. I just, at the end of it, when I finished it, I felt more confused than I was when it started, which is just hard. But let me read you guys the inside flap. It says, single mother Kate Reese is on the run, determined to improve her life for herself and her son Christopher. She flees an abusive relationship in the middle of the night with her child. Together they find themselves drawn to a tight-knit community in Mill Grove, Pennsylvania. As far off the beaten track as they can get, just one highway in, one highway out. At first it seems like the perfect place to finally settle down, and Christopher vanishes. For 6 long days no one can find him, until Christopher emerges from the woods at the edge of town, unharmed but not unchanged. He returns with a voice in his head only he can hear, with a mission only he can complete. Build a treehouse in the woods by Christmas, or his mother and everyone in the town will never be the same again. So that is one thing. When he comes back, he disappears. He's gone for 6 days. He sees people and voices that aren't there, and he is on this mission to create a treehouse, which he does with his friends. And if he does not do this, his mother will be hurt, everyone in the town. So he says the person is the nice man. He is questioned by the cops to find out who took him. He just left school and go wandering out in the woods, and we really don't know what happened to him. He was completely unharmed. He was in the hospital for a long time. He missed school, and when he went back to school, he came back and their friends started building a tree house. He sneaks out because he's not allowed to go back out into the woods. So I think, if I could be wrong, I should have put this back earlier, but couldn't remember exactly when it happened. Before they get the house, it was after he disappeared, and after he disappeared, they got the lottery ticket, the winning lottery ticket, and they got the house. It actually was close to the woods, and so she did not want to live there to be close to the woods, but they still did it. And of course, the problems persist. So he's acting, you know, they're in a new town, they're trying to settle in, and there's just obvious, you know, she's worried about his mental health, about if he's okay, what really happened to them. He won't say much about what happened. And it's just not making any sense. And obviously it's called Imaginary Friend, so he did have an imaginary friend. There was a kid who died in the book. His name was David, and he died years before they moved there, and he becomes friends with David's family, with his brother. And so I think maybe the imaginary friend could have been maybe his spirit, his soul, so to speak. But please, guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this book. If you haven't or have, you guys can go check it out. Come back and read this. Comments down below. Maybe if I listened to the audiobook, it would help. I really don't listen to audiobooks that often, but I want to get back into them. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time in our video. Goodbye.